We're living in a noisy world of sales. It seems like everyone's trying to sell something to someone, right? So how do you, as a sales rep, break through that noise and stand out from the crowd? I believe the answer is a multi-channel approach to prospecting. Just sending cold emails and making cold calls is not good enough anymore. You need to utilize things like video and social media and have them as part of your process. It's where I've seen my success, and to add a layer on top of that, if you can build a personal brand online, your prospect will start to join the dots and understand who you are because they might recognize you from the work you've done online. It makes conversations a lot easier, opens up a lot of doors, and really adds to the multi-channel approach to grabbing someone's attention.
Hi, I just wanted to share with you my top tips for managing positive outcomes as an SDR. So obviously it's fantastic to get a positive outcome. As being an SDR, you do have to put up with a lot of rejection. And it's very important to recognize that a positive outcome can come in all shapes and sizes, and it won't always end up in a meeting booked straight away. So do really celebrate those small wins with your team and make sure that you're reporting back to them and letting them know what's working for you and what's not working. But my top tip would be to make sure that you're reporting and always keeping track of any conversation or response that you've had from a prospect, because you can use this as ammunition further down the line, whether that be a warmer call or a really personalized Vidyard email or a LinkedIn message. And then also making sure that you're tracking your conversations correctly. Just because you've had a blunt conversation with a prospect who's kind of bypassed all of your objection handling and just asked you to send up a follow-up email, that does not mean that it's not a positive response. And making sure that you're kind of reporting that correctly on your sales enablement tools means that you can run reports and kind of go back to any good conversations that you've had, so none of your hot leads fall through the cracks. So finally, I always ask my prospects for feedback on any good conversations that I've had or any awful conversations I've had, just to make sure that I'm always improving. If you don't ask, you don't get. Thank you.
Hi there, my name is Neil Bhuiyan. I'm the founder of happyselling.io, and I help SDRs or sales development reps to become happy sellers. And I do that by providing training, coaching, and sharing best practices from the world of sales development. And today I'd like to share my tips on time management. So simply put, time management is a process of organizing and planning how to divide your time between specific activities such as calls, emails, research, building out accounts, or perhaps doing discovery calls with your prospects. And good time management enables you to work smarter, not harder, ensuring that you're getting more done in less time, even when the time is tight and the pressure are high. So what I advise to SDRs is to look at your calendar and set things out in blocks of activities. And I try to keep these blocks to 30 to 60 minutes, no more, because anything after an hour, you're probably going to burn yourself out and get a bit tired. So use color codes to help you remind you what you should be doing at that time of day, because for every email, every Slack message you get or interruption to your day, that affects you by 11 minutes. So it's good to know and look back at the calendar to remind ourselves, what should we be doing at this time? Also, adapt your schedule over time to find a rhythm that best suits you, because initially you may go in with the intention of doing your calls on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday morning, but you're finding that you're probably connecting better with people in the afternoon. So just move those blocks around and adapt it to suit your working style. Also, allow team members to have access to your calendar so they know that when you're in the zone, when you're doing your calls or perhaps building out your accounts in your CRM, and not to disturb you. And if they want to get through to you, they're going to have to wait later down the line. Also, make sure that you have enough breaks in your day and that you stay hydrated. Your body is 80% water, and if you just sit there in front of a screen without any of these breaks, you're going to burn yourself out again. And also, slots change, and that's okay. So what I like to do in my own calendar is by putting 15-minute buffers between meetings, which allows me to decompress after a long session of perhaps calling or doing one-to-ones with my team, but then also gives me enough time to prep before I jump into the next meeting. So those are my tips for SDR time management. Set blocks of 30 to 60 minutes, add color codes to remind you what you should be doing at those times, and most importantly, make sure that you add breaks and buffers to your meetings so that you're not going back to back. Take care and happy selling.
Hello, here's my tip. have you currently got a framework, a cold calling framework? So what I mean by this is, have you broken down your cold call into different areas? So the first being, have you got your introduction sorted? Introducing yourself and your company and explaining what is the reason for your call. From here, this allows you to take it on to the next step, which is asking those open questions, finding out more about the business. And then from there, you can work out what avenue you want to go down. Then we're going into the probing questions. Now, the probing questions are the questions where we really find the pain points, the why behind the whys. And from here, ideally, we move on to the next step, which is framing, where we frame those pain points in such a way, which would sound something like this. Hey, Mr. Prospect, if I could solve X, Y, and Z for you, would that be of interest in learning more about? Now, then we take it on to the next step, which is actually booking that meeting from framing it in such a way. And then we set the agenda for that meeting, where the requirements, what the prospect needs to do and what we need to do. That's my tip. Build yourself a framework for your cold call so that you can master all of those elements, or at least continuously refine it. Thank you.